Welcome into your PFF Draft Breakdown, powered by PFF Edge and Elite. It's all about the San Francisco 49ers today, Sam, who started in the first round, adding some veteran depth and leadership on the offensive line. Mike McGlinchey, he's going to come in and tutor Joe Staley on the other side.
He is the oldest-looking rookie I have ever seen since A'Shawn Robinson, at least.
Just a PFF inside joke. McGlinchey does look a little bit older, but he's only a senior, fifth-year senior, really. And he's been outstanding at Notre Dame, especially in the run game. He's got 3 straight years of top 10 run blocking grades in the PFF system, and we're the only ones who go through and we grade every player on every single snap. So we've seen it now for a few years. Outstanding in the run game. He's good in pass protection, 3 solid grades in pass pro. Really liked this pick for the Niners.
Yeah, I think he's very good in pass protection at college. The question will be, at the NFL level, when the athletes are better, the pass rushers are better, can he still be that effective? He allowed just 16 total pressures last season, which is a really good number, playing for the best offensive line in the country, forming the best double team in the country, standing next to Quentin Nelson all season long. The only question is going to be, can he hold up at the NFL level against really elite pass rushers? But this does look to be an impressive pick, the best tackle in the draft. I think it's a good move.
Yeah, top tackle on our draft board. The question will be pass protection, like you said. There are some pretty ugly reps on his film, but I guess it's a little bit nitpicky because when you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pass blocking snaps, you're going to lose every now and again. I think ultimately the Niners might be happy if he does have a career similar to a guy like Nate Solder, who just signed with the New York Giants, a guy who's been between below average and good in pass protection. He's fluctuated a little bit, and he's been one of the better run blocking offensive tackles in the NFL. You can actually see Solder's career breakdown, compare it to what you might get with McGlinchey in our PFF Elite package, all part of premium stats. So to me, that's a comparison that I think makes sense. And if the Niners get that, I do think it's a solid pick for them. He'll start out at right tackle.
Then it's the mid-rounds, though, where this draft gets really interesting to me, because the 49ers address their coverage. They addressed a couple of different coverage positions, and I think they've done it with multiple players that are going to be swapping positions. Fred Warner was a linebacker at BYU, but he played that kind of overhang, walkout linebacker role that doesn't really exist in the National Football League. It's a guy a linebacker, but is playing a sort of linebacker slot cornerback hybrid. In the NFL, he's going to have to play more of a traditional linebacker role. He's going to have to do some of the same things, but between the tackles, working in tighter quarters against bigger bodies, and we're going to see how he holds up doing that. But playing that role at BYU, we got to see some extremely good grades, particularly when it came to coverage, because you need to be an outstanding athlete to do that in that much space and cover legitimate slot receivers. You've got Tavares Moore, a safety from Southern Miss, who the 49ers, it sounds like at cornerback. This is a guy that's over 6 foot, around 200 pounds. He is a guy that does project to that cornerback body type that this kind of San Francisco scheme really likes. And then the really surprising one is DJ Reed in the 5th round, cornerback from Kansas State. 5'9", 190-pound cornerback. Sounds like he's going to move to safety, and we're going to see what he can do as a free safety, having really excelled at corner at Kansas State, had a PFF grade of 89.9, didn't allow a catch longer than 30 yards all last season, and a passer rating of just 55 when targeted. You may have 3 players there who could all conceivably be playing a different position in the NFL than they played in college.
All those guys scream versatility, though. You're talking about Fred Warner, who's a linebacker by name, who has experience playing in the slot. DJ Reed, who has a slot body type, obviously has experience playing man coverage as a corner. And Tarvarius Moore, who's a safety by name in our draft guide right here, but like you said, could project as a corner. And I get that. He's 6'2", 190. That's the long frame the Niners like, but also ran in that 4.3 range at his pro day. He was a guy who just crushed the PFF system, 87 overall, was a first-team All-American right next to Derwin James last year for us in college. And then he has that incredible combine, and before you know it, there's a lot more buzz for him, coming as we got closer to the NFL draft. I mean, just reading some of the stuff out of our report in the draft guide, all part of our Edge and Elite packages, flies to the ball in the underneath routes and could cover receivers. I mean, we mentioned it as a strength for him, even just projecting him as a safety. So I love, taking that shot. And we talk about positional value all the time. There is no more important position than quarterback. Other than quarterback, then corner. The corner is the most important position on the defense according to all of our analytical numbers. And grabbing a guy like Moore, who's athletic and long and just developing him as a corner to see if he can stick, it just makes a ton of sense.
I really like the players they've taken. The one question mark I'm left with after this draft is that they didn't really address edge defender, which was the biggest need we had for them heading into this draft. We kept mocking them. Guys like Harold Landry, we thought would be a dream selection for them in the first round, let alone the second round. We thought he was the best pure pass rusher of this group, but they needed some kind of pass rushing presence on the outside to go along with the 57-3 technique interior defenders they've got on this roster.
They do have a lot of the same body type.
The only guy that they drafted that sort of fits that bill is Contavious Street, an edge defender from NC State. And the first point is he tore his knee up in the pre-draft process working out for a team. The second point is when you look at him, he is a squat, powerful body type, wins with brute force and power, and I actually think he may be best kicking inside and playing that 3-tech pass rushing role. So, best case scenario, they've got a guy that can play base end or defensive end on base downs and occupy that edge role and then kicks inside. That still leaves them without anybody to legitimately rush the passer from sub-package downs, which after all are 60-odd% of today's NFL.
Yeah, they spent their last 3 first-round picks on Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner. Both of those guys really drafted for a 3-4 scheme, and when they converted to the 4-3, they do fit that 3-tech type of role. And then last year, Solomon Thomas, and his best fit, even though he's an edge by name, certainly rushing over the guard is a better spot for him.
Well, they played him out on the edge as a rookie, and it clearly wasn't what he was supposed to do. We thought he projected inside at the next level anyway. I think the 49ers have learned the hard way that that's true after 1 year of trying him outside.
Don't sleep on their 2 wide receivers. It was Dante Pettis in the second round out of Washington, and then 7th rounder Richie James out of Middle Tennessee State. Pettis has the NCAA record, 9 touchdowns on punt return, so he adds a little bit of special teams value. And just as a receiver, maybe the most sure-handed receiver in the entire draft class. Only dropped 7 passes on 169 catchable opportunities throughout his career. That is exceptional. Wasn't as good last year as he was in 2016, but he's one of those receivers who just has a good feel for zone, knows how to get off press coverage. He feels like he could become one of Jimmy Garoppolo's favorite targets really early in his career.
And if you're going to add value as a return man, punt returns are the place to do it now. As the NFL moves inexorably towards eliminating the kickoff entirely, kickoff returners aren't as valuable as they used to be. Punt returners are going to become ever more valuable.
That's it. Pettis is going to find a role on the 49ers. We called it an above-average draft for the 49ers. You can read more at ProFootballFocus.com or in our draft guide. Get the information on every 49ers draft pick. There it is right there. All part of our PFF Edge or Elite packages.